There are thousands upon thousands of games available on Steam, most of which you've never even heard of. Today I'm going to pick 5 games that have never been reviewed before. Some of these games may have never even been played. Most of them are probably going to be bad, but maybe we'll find a diamond in the rough. Who knows? I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to pick these games. Maybe I will try to pick games that I think will be good or look interesting to me. Also, I don't want to spend too much money on this, obviously. So let me just click a couple of these. Fantasy Match Puzzle. Fucktopia. Okay, I'm definitely clicking on Fucktopia. Drillman. I'm not even really looking that far into this list, and like everything is fucking hilarious. As it turns out, my hopes were way too high. Fucktopia barely even functioned as a game. This guy gyrating on the menu was pretty cool, but it was all downhill from here. I'm not sure why the developer went with these sound effects when everything else in this game is pretty stylistically consistent, but it is what it is. The first red flag other than the sound effects was that this select your character screen didn't work at all, so I just went with the main menu guy. Anyway, the game was pretty straightforward. There were different guns you could pick up on the ground, ammo, health packs, slug-like creatures try to melee attack you while these flying guys spit a fan of projectiles at you. Not really sure what games this reminds me of, but I know I've played ones like it with an isometric arena, shooting bad guys and avoiding their bullets. The sound effects only got more ridiculous as I continued playing, including what sounded like what might be a homemade spit sound effect. The projectiles were actually pretty hard to dodge. I had to be very careful to finally beat the first round. Then you get the option to pick an upgrade, but I wasn't able to select one and move on to the next round. I tried twice, but nothing happened from the screen, forcing me to Alt F4. There's actually a Fucktopia 4 and 5, but this was the first one I saw. I thought about playing the 5th one when I saw it, but that game had one review, saying it didn't work at all. So that makes me think that all these games are probably dysfunctional in some way. I had high hopes for Fucktopia, but it was a total letdown. I think there is potential there for something simple and fun, but it's just not there yet. Anyway, on to the next one. The next game, Fantasy Match Puzzle, is literally a game made for babies. All it is an image search, where it gives you 3 images at the top, and you have to find them inside a big grid of images. Hard mode just made the set of images to choose from larger. It was annoying because instead of glancing around and being able to use your peripheral vision, you actually had to scroll, not being able to see the entire grid of images all at once. Also, hard mode seemed to give me more time. I'm not sure if the timer was speeding up at all or if the game was just endless. I was too bored to keep playing to find out. Then there's Dad Hungry. This game has you running around a wintry scene looking for food, all the while being chased by a giant head that wants to eat you. This game was difficult for all the wrong reasons. My mouse sensitivity was insanely high with no way of changing it. I could barely control it. To do a 360, I'm moving my mouse like a ½ inch. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty hard to get caught. Honestly, the hardest thing is controlling this mouse. After running around a bit, I finally found pizza, but I didn't know what to do with it. In trying to figure that out, I died. How do I get it? Wait, did I die? Starting again, I realized the map wasn't randomly generated, but the same. So I went back to the pizza and hoped that just running over it was enough to trigger something. No other controls were explained, so I wasn't really sure. Either way, I kept running over what was way too large of a map. Eventually, I saw a few things in the distance, but only one I couldn't ignore. A giant door. I was happy to find that I could go through the door and I was safe. I thought there might be a win condition or an Easter egg, maybe even a jump scare. But after running to the end of the path, it was just an invisible wall with nothing. Next we have Drillman 6378137. I started Drillman in the standard game mode. From the pictures it reminded me of Dig Dug, but it was actually more like an endless runner game. Except that in the standard mode you just have to go a set distance to the end. That's what the 6378137 means. That's the distance until you reach the end. Not sure why they picked that number, but it's there. So it's really just about how patient you want to be. I tried this a few times but kept failing. But I needed to see what was at the end. Luckily, the timed mode let you keep playing even after hitting a bomb, so I played recklessly, brute forcing my way to the finish line just to see what was there. Okay, that's a little bit underwhelming. Hard mode just added more mines to the point where it kind of seemed impossible to play without playing at a snail's pace. Overall, Drillman isn't bad for what it is, but what it is just isn't enough to keep me entertained. Lastly, we have Civil Warfare. There's a lot going on in this game. I guess it's some sort of apocalyptic robot invasion or something. Your grandma's in trouble, so you have to go save her. It's a pretty basic third-person shooter, the highlights being the little cutscene here and the voiceover bits at the start of each level.
Grandma went to church. I need to save her.
My first instinct was to fight the robots, but that didn't go so well. The pistol is not that good against them, as they each take 4 bullets to die. There's melee guys, and then there's guys that shoot rockets at you, and basically one-shot you. So I started running, but even then I kept getting sniped. I tried to see if you could use the vehicles, but nothing seemed interactive. Eventually I learned if I just kept jumping, I could avoid the missile fire, making it to the church, and to a really annoying boss fight that I almost quit.
Grandma?
I didn't initially realize the glowing red square in front of the guy was a shield, and then I thought maybe I was still doing damage anyway. I also discovered that there was a time limit to the fight. I don't know if I can like wait for him to get hit. Oh, what happened? What? No, no way. Come on. Eventually I got the technique down. Move right past him and hope he whiffs so I can shoot him in the back. Finally I killed him, moving into some catacombs area.
Oh, hell no.
This is a big maze, way bigger than necessary, and it lagged horribly even after I set the graphics to low. I was again about to give up until I lucked upon the exit portal. This brought me to another maze-like area.
Where is this bastard?
Here you have a little more space to maneuver, but a lot more enemies are chasing after you. I was getting better weapons now, so it wasn't so bad. After finding the exit, I was faced with the same boss fight again. Oh no. Not this bastard. If I have to do that again, I'm done. If I have to do that whole running, no, I'm done. That's it. Civil Warfare is funny for the voice lines, and that's really the only redeeming quality. For some reason it runs horribly and is borderline unplayable because of lag, on top of just being an annoying game to play regardless. Still, I appreciated that this was the longest I spent on any of these games. At least I had more content to keep me occupied. All these games sucked. I'm not sure if I can really expect much else when digging through the forgotten archives of games that had never been played before. Looking through the list of games, I picked ones that piqued my interest or at least looked funny or interesting in some way. If I did this again, I think I'd have to have higher standards for which games to play. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting to find the next Balatro doing this, but I at least want to play something that's more than a barely functioning demo someone probably threw together in Unity in less than a day.